Hey family, you're tuning in to the Jimmy Bonds podcast on Illadelphia Radio. Pardon any technical difficulties as we're recording live on the Zoom platform. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Yeah. Jimmy. Lights, camera, action. Some people thought I quit and I ain't giving satisfaction. From a different era, writing rhymes up on napkins. What you had to say was more important, man, than trapping. Yeah, I'm talking back and speaking of contemporary.
What's good, family, and welcome to another episode of Jimmy Bonds Podcast on Illadelphia Radio. This episode is sponsored by Major Flavor LLC. I'm your host, Jimmy Bonds, along with my co-host, Ty T.Y. What's good, Ty? How you feeling?
All good in the neighborhood, Jimmy.
All good in the neighborhood. Live from the 215. You know how we do. You know I can't forget my other co-host, lovely Miss T with the T. What's up, T? How you doing?
I'm doing well, Jimmy. How are you?
I'm doing well, Mama. I'm doing well. Remember, family, you can call us with your comments and questions at 844-844-1244. Again, it's 844-844-1244. You can also email us at jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. Again, it's jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. It's JIMMYBONDS podcast@gmail.com. Also, family, remember, you can follow us on Instagram at Jimmy Bonds Podcast, on Twitter at Podcast Bonds, and you can also join the Jimmy Bonds Podcast Facebook group. Make sure you join the Facebook group. We continue to open the dialogue. Moving right along, family. Tonight we are continuing our Artist Spotlight series, and as we do all the time, we like to bring artists from different genres on. And tonight we are touching a genre we have not touched yet, and I'm really happy that we're doing that. And we are joined by a phenomenal artist out of California by the name of Samona. How you doing, Samona?
I'm doing good.
Thank you for being here, family. She is a multi-talented contemporary gospel artist, and I have to say that, you know, when I first got the I guess the forward for your information, I was really taken back because me and Ty have been talking about getting the gospel artist on and having somebody come on it's in the gospel genre because it's different. It's not you know, it's not hip hop, it's not R&B, it's not rock, which we've covered already. So. But to have you on tonight was a super blessing because, you know, I got to read some of your press clips and what, you know, what was sent to us, and I got to see a different side of people who are in the gospel field. You know what I mean? From what I read, there was a lot of things that you have done in your career. There's a lot of ways that you have used your music as an influence to others. You know, one of the things I wanted to kick off with was, how is being a inspirational gospel artist, how has that changed the way you look at life?
Well, it has changed the way that I look at life because when you go through life and your mission is to inspire and encourage other people, you tend to glean from your circumstances, from your trauma, from just the different problems that you face in life. You tend to glean the inspiration, find the lesson in it, and sing about it. So I've been through a lot of different things in my life. And for me, God has really helped me through a lot of traumatic experiences. My mission is to kind of draw people into that interpersonal relationship with the Lord and just try him out. You know, you may not talk to him, you may, you know, be doing your own thing, but if you're going through something, just talk to him. Just, you know what, Lord, I'm going through X, Y, and Z. This, that, and the other is happening. And just opening up that line of communication. And so my music is really about that. I try to inspire people into coming into a closer relationship with the Lord because it really helps.
Definitely. Ty, go ahead, man. I want you to jump in there. Go ahead and jump in there with a question.
Hey, Samona, how you doing this evening?
Good, how are you?
All right, I've been looking forward for this interview. What led you to gospel music?
So I grew up in the church, okay? And so
Amen.
I guess my whole thing is I feel like God gave it to me. God gave me the ability, so I want to give it back to him. I want to do something positive in that. I'm not saying other things are not positive, or if you sing about other things, it's not positive. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying for me, because God has been so instrumental in my life. I sing gospel, but I like to say it like this. He's my subject. That's what I like to sing about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what led me to sing gospel music.
I think that's dope. You know, I grew up in the church. I tell people that all the time. I grew up in the church. My mom was a pastor. I have, you know, extensive knowledge of what goes on in church and choirs and that kind of thing. You know, you know what I'm talking about. And you know, it's a different, when you grow up in a church, it's a different way of seeing life and seeing the world. You know, I think not just because God plays a role in your life and, you know, you put him first, but more along the lines of how you live your life. You know, a lot of people go to church every Sunday. You know, some people go to church on Sunday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You know what I mean? Some people spend every day in the church. You know, some people might look at that as a programmed way to live, you know, but some people might also look at it as the way to just they honor God in that manner, you know. And I find that to be, sometimes I find it to be, for me, it was tough because, you know, being a young teenage boy, I didn't want to spend my whole life in church. And so I always wanted to do something different, you know, and, you know, but I never lost that foundation. You know what I mean? I never lost that knowledge of what I've gained in church. You know what I mean? So I can definitely dig it. I can definitely dig it. Tell me about this. I read that you were influenced a lot by a lot of old school gospel artists, Mississippi Mass Choir, you know, just to name one.
Oh, yes.
So tell me what role has that played in the development of your music?
That's a great question. So I have an interesting background. Okay. So I was raised with like older parents. So my parents are really older. And so also very religious. So I was very restricted in what I could listen to. So in my house, it was opera, believe it or not, classical music and old school gospel music. And that's what we listened to. And one of my first tapes, my dad loved music. We just didn't like the same kind of music. You know, I liked more jazz and that kind of thing. And, you know, what everybody's like, you know, that's the devil growing up. And I'm like, it sounds so good. I don't understand. But hey, so, you know, I grew up listening to Mississippi Mass. My dad gave me a Milton Brunson tape, Mississippi Mass. And I like the harmonies and the way they vocalize and things like that. I would say that influences what I do as far as knowing when to add that gospel element for that feel. Yeah. For that gospel feel. Yeah. I don't know how to say this, but I'm not churchy in my approach to music. Yeah. I don't like being in the box, but I appreciate old school gospel music. It's just not me. It's not how I hear music, if that makes sense. So if I'm song, I don't hear it that way, but I appreciate those who make it that way. Definitely. So,
definitely. Do you think there's a major difference between contemporary and old school gospel? Because nowadays, you know, between Christian rap and contemporary gospel, there are so many different ways to approach it. You know, there's so many different ways to go at it. I mean, I've heard gospel songs with a super hard hip hop beat. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so is there a difference that you feel, like a major difference between the old and the new?
Can I be honest?
Yeah, for sure.
The difference that I feel is the mood. Definitely. So to me, when I listen to old school gospel music, it's one vibe, it's one feel. I may be feeling that way for that day, and I decide to listen to choir music because I want to feel nostalgic. I want to feel like I've been in church or going to church, that type of thing. I think contemporary music is becoming, or contemporary gospel is becoming more broader. So you get moods, you get vibes, you get a sentiment, you get a more vast array of genres that can speak to maybe your situation. Yeah. Like you may listen to, what's the guy's name? Andy Mineo. You guys know who that is? I can listen to his music and be in a mood and really think about what he's saying, really contemplate and think about what he's saying, as opposed to the cliche sound of gospel music that we're used to hearing. Yeah. And there's a lot of younger people that love God who have been through situations, maybe didn't even grow up in church, but they're artistic and they want to express and they want to give an ode or a praise to God for different things that he's done for them. And so they express outside of the box. And I really, really appreciate that. I think that's the difference. The contemporaries coming out of that cookie cutter box of gospel music, and it's giving you more variety.
Definitely. I've noticed how it's being used more to connect to a broader generation of people
Absolutely.
You know, like you said, not everybody goes to church. Not everybody grew up in the church. So in order to connect with God, sometimes you got to expand your base. You can't
Absolutely.
you can't do the same thing that you used to do. And nowadays, the way people are exposed to certain types of music, you can reach a broader amount of people. You know, it's not just, hey, let's turn on a gospel channel on the radio anymore. It's just, you know, there are people shooting videos like, you know, really, really gospel artists or contemporary gospel artists are really becoming mainstream in a sense, in their own right, you know, in their own way, you know. So that's something I appreciate about it. That's something that I've learned about it, you know.
Definitely.
So Ty, my bad. Ty, go ahead and jump another question in there for me, man.
Yes. Samona, the song Wilderness.
Yes.
Can you tell me about that song?
Yeah, I hope I don't cry.
It's okay to cry on here. It's okay. Let it out if you need to.
This is actually an example of a very real life situation, a real life experience. So I made this song many years ago. I just never recorded it. I talked to my brother about it. Hey, Justin, my brother Justin, what do you think about this hook or this concept? And I'm sitting at a gas station and singing this song over the phone with my brother. And we're going over it years ago. Okay. So I was slated to actually start recording this song. So I go into the studio, I'm recording the song. And if you listen to the lyrics, it's introducing you into a situation. Everything was cool. Everything was under control. And then suddenly, I don't know what to do. Life just turns upside down. And then you're in this wilderness situation. You're in this situation you never had to confront before. You don't know which way to go. It's dark. Okay. There's no light nowhere. And you're trying to figure out what in the world, Lord, where are you at? What's going on? So that song basically captures that feeling. So I was in the studio recording that song. The week after I start recording that song, on April 22nd, I get the phone call that my brother, you know how you have a sibling? This is like my favorite. I hate to say that. I hate to say that live. But my brother is like my twin. We look just alike. We're music heads. I love my brother Justin. And I got a phone call that he was murdered. He was shot in the head. My brother. And it's something about somebody you love so much, you think about their body being disrespected in such a way and being shot in the head. That just tripped me out. Anyway, I'm dealing with that. I already had the song scheduled to be completed the next week. And I felt so emotional. I was like, I'm going to cancel this. I can't finish this song. Like, I'm in grief. I don't know what to do. And so I talked to my other brother. He said, no, Samona, just go finish it. So I go in the studio and I'm telling you, it's like all the emotion and the pain and the anguish was right there at the surface. It was right there. Yeah. And my engineer producer really directed me through those emotions, and he had me use all of that. And we added the little line to the song, My Brother Just Died, that type of thing, where I'm living the song that I'm singing about, right? Because I'm in a wilderness experience. I'm really going through, and I'm not only singing to someone else, I'm singing to my own soul, so that I don't give up in that moment, so that I keep the faith in that moment, so that I still say God is still on the throne in that moment. I don't know how I'm gonna get through it. I don't know why somebody murdered my brother. I don't know why this happened, but I know God is sovereign. He doesn't make mistakes. This was his will. My brother's death touched a lot of people, caused a lot of people to come to the Lord and things like that, change their life because of the kind of life my brother was living. Okay, so that's the background, but that's how I make music. I don't do cookie cutter, and I'm not fake. I'm very genuine. So when I make music, it's real. I really mean it. And this is what I'm going through. And it's almost like, come on, let's do this together. Let's both get through this trial, through this wilderness. Let's get through it together, and let's be positive.
You know, I am extremely honored that you shared that with us. loss is something I think we all have been through. And the loss of a sibling is something very major. It's traumatic as I don't mean to put that lightly. But I am very honored that you shared that with us. And, I think the team feels the same way. I mean, we think we're all kind of just like, taken back a little bit by it. I'm blessed by that because it's not something that people often want to talk about, but how the song came about and the way God was using you at that moment, and probably feeling like you couldn't do it. You wanted to cancel, but
I did.
You found the energy, you found the inner spiritual push.
Willpower, yeah.
Yeah, push to really get through that moment and create something that was not just on your heart, but was on your brother's heart as well, and a way to honor him. So, again, I'm honored that you even shared that with us. I'm taken back by it. I'm very, very quiet. Sometimes we start interviews and we're just like, what are people going to talk about? And definitely. We want to definitely give respect and love to you and your family, for your loss and definitely, big ups to it. Hey, I'm speechless on that one, man. Very much so. On that note, I think we're going to take a quick break. When we come right back, we're going to talk some more to Samona, our multi-talented contemporary gospel artist out of California, family. She is sharing her story, sharing her talent, sharing her what drives her to make her music. And family, this is love. I love this. This is what we do. So we're going to take a quick break. Remember, you can call us with your comments and questions at 844-844-1244. Again, it's 844-844-1244. You can also email us at jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. Again, it's jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. It's JIMMYBONDS podcast@gmail.com. You listen to the Jimmy Bonds Podcast on Illadelphia Radio. We'll be right back.
Carry you on wings of love. Just rest in his presence, where no hurt, harm, or danger lives. Oh, just look up. Your help is on.
Is it on? I said, is the mic on? It is. Okay, all right, yeah. This is Reverend CC Chicken Wing. And I love listening to the Jimmy Bonds Podcast. Insightful, thoughtful words that uplift the people and bring them knowledge to the people. That's the brother Jimmy Bonds right there. You can reach out to the brother too at the Jimmy Bonds Podcast @gmail.com. This is Reverend CC Chicken Wing. Is the mic still on? Is it on? Okay, I'm sure.
Hey, this is Michael from Abu Dhabi. Listen to Jimmy Bonds Podcast on Illadelphia Radio.
Welcome back to the Jimmy Bonds Podcast on Illadelphia Radio. We thank you for listening. Remember, family, you can call us at 844-844-1244. Again, it's 844-844-1244. You can also email us at jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. Again, it's jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. That's JIMMYBONDS podcast@gmail.com. And welcome back, family. Remember, you can call us with your comments and questions at 844-844-1244. Again, that's 844-844-1244. You can also email us at jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. Again, it's jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. That's JIMMYBONDS podcast@gmail.com. And family, again, we are continuing our Artist Spotlight series, and we are talking to the multi-talented contemporary gospel artist Samona, all the way out of California, sharing with us her story about how she grew up in the church, what God has done for her in so many aspects of her life. And on this segment, we thought we'd go back a little further. We talk about some things, what it was like growing up and all that good stuff. But I'm going to let Sister T get off and kick off with the questions. Go ahead, Sister T.
Hello. What was it like? Because I know that you grew up in the church, like me and Jimmy and I. So what age did you start singing? And did you go from singing, or did you start learning the instruments in the church and then go to singing? How did that go about?
So the way that I started was I was super shy to sing. And I was a kid, but I knew there was this little thing in me that wanted to sing. I knew I was very musically inclined, but I did not want to sing in front of anybody. So this is going to sound weird, but This is how I started singing. I'd go into the closet where nobody could hear me, and I'd sing towards the wall because I try to work on my pitch, and I could hear the echo coming back from the wall. I know that sounds weird, but I would do that to work on my tone. And sometimes I would put the radio outside the door and put it really low, so I would match the person who was singing, like dead on, as closely as I could. And so I started doing that when I was a kid. I know it's weird because you couldn't pay me to sing in the choir. I wanted to, but when they'd have me sing, I was the kid who turned my back to everybody, and they'd be like, "Oh, Samona, here we go with this. Just sing already." It was just a hot mess.
Yeah.
But I wasn't so shy when it came to playing instruments. So about third grade, I started playing the clarinet, and I played the saxophone all throughout. I still play the saxophone to this day.
That's awesome.
But I was more comfortable doing that. But that's how I started singing.
That's dope. You play the sax?
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yes.
That's dope. That's dope. Yeah.
Now, what age did you start like singing for people? Since you were singing in the closet, you had to come out at one point, because now you have to
come out of the closet.
Come out of the closet, right?
Right. I would say, I have so many issues. I'd say about 12. I came out of the closet. It just started trying to sing with the youth choir, It took many years, and I still kind of struggle with the fear a little bit, but I've learned to overcome the fear and just be brave and just do it anyway. It's a journey. It's a journey, definitely.
A journey, but a good one.
Yeah. Because people don't realize how sensitive it is to sing. Like, singing really bears the soul.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm showing you who I am. I'm showing you how I feel. It's like an outward manifestation of that. So it takes a lot of vulnerability to do that and not do it in a fake way.
Yeah.
If I'm really singing how I really feel, and I don't care how you got, you know what I'm saying? I'm just laying it all out there. That's different than me going through the motions.
What was the moment? What was that moment that you realized I could do this?
When people kept asking me to do it, and when I would do little things like, I would want to know how to do certain things, and I would pray. And I say, Lord, how do you sing in a false? And then all of a sudden a light bulb would just, and I would understand vocally how to do that. How do you do that kind of run? How do I do a longer run? How do I do a chromatic scale? And learning that I had a wisdom, or the Lord would help me to understand how to do something, or do something musically, help me kind of see, well, maybe this is something I should be doing.
That's amazing.
Yeah, no, that's really dope. Go ahead, T. Go ahead.
What was the first song that you wrote? What the first song you wrote, and how old were you? Like, were you still trying to find yourself?
The first song I wrote, I would say about 19, and it was a song called Contemporary Desires. Somebody was making fun of me last week, and they said, Samona, you be doing too much in some of these songs. You be trying to put sermons in these songs. So in this particular song, it was called Contemporary Desires, and the lyric was, I know what to do when my desires are contrary to you. And it talks about the struggle when you have a desire, but it's contrary to the will of God, and how to kind of get through that. And so that was the first song I did. And I've done others. There's a song on my Spotify and Amazon and all that, Fear. That was one of the other first songs that I initially wrote. That's in my early beginnings, if you will.
I like music like that has stuff to make you think inside of it. Like, wow, okay, and how can I relate to it? And I can relate to a lot of your music. I love that.
I love that.
Thank you.
You know, we're
thank
talking
you.
About, no, seriously, thank you. So
that's why I make it.
Listen, we're talking about your past or whatever, but you're from Oakland originally, right?
Yeah, I was born in Oakland.
Born in Oakland, you grew up in Sacramento. You grew up in Sacramento, or you moved to Sacramento?
I moved to Sacramento when I was 4.
Okay. What's it like growing up in Sacramento? I mean, many of our listeners and many people don't know Sacramento is the capital of California, and it is different than a lot of other places. You know what I'm saying? It's completely not talked about in the mainstream. What was it like growing up in Sacramento?
Sacramento's pretty chill. There's not too much drama, if you will, here. I was kind of raised in more of a suburban area. The music scene here there's a lot of talented people out here, a lot. Maybe like with other places, there's issues with artists working together. I'm really big on trying to work together and stuff. Sometimes you can't always do that. Sometimes there can be a crabs in the bucket mentality.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of jewels here. There are a lot of people here that are very talented and willing to help. Overall, it's a cool place to live. I mean, it's not as exciting as San Francisco or the Bay Area, but it's cool. It's all right.
Shoot, you don't have to be always excited if you want to just be safe. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Shoot,
I am safe.
Safety is key.
Cool.
Right. You know what I mean? I'll take a cool place any time of the week instead of that craziness.
Yeah, well, it's definitely safe.
Hey, safe is good. Yeah,
safe is real good. Safe is great. Safe is really good. Now you have talked about some of your adversity, and I read in your press clip that was one of the big things was you overcome a lot of adversity. Besides your brother passing, what other challenges would you say you have faced in the transition, and growing up in Sacramento and then moving on? What other adversities have you faced?
Well, a musical adversity that I faced growing up was I got made fun of a lot. Primarily because I would be so afraid to sing. So sometimes the notes, when you try to sing, it doesn't come out right, or people think you're not confident in the other ones that are more confident. They kind of center in on the one who's not, and you get picked on. Yeah. And so it creates a insecurity. It inhibits your ability to express, and you have a lot of internal conflict. I've had to kind of push through a lot of that and still keep going, but I had a lot of downtime. If you look at the time in between fear and the time in between heart sings, that's a lot of time. Yeah. And so it's a lot of trying to find myself, trying to be okay with expressing the way it is in my heart. That's just one thing. Depression, being sad, that type of thing, because of different things that happened growing up. And I think people talk about God in the sense of him being a Band-Aid, or you see people in church and just going through all of these emotional antics, maybe to relieve some of the stress that they're going through in their life. But for me, I've learned that through prayer, and I know that sounds so cliche, but a lot of the issues that I have that were creating the depression, I was able to get an understanding through prayer and through time how to kind of come out of that. So my mind got changed, because a lot of depression and cognitive distortion happens in the mind. And so you need help sometimes outside of yourself to come out and think of things in a different way, so you have a more positive outcome. Definitely. So that's just another thing that God has helped me through.
I always wondered, because, I tell people all the time, we're all artists here. I'm an artist, Ty's an artist, T's an artist in her own right. What are some of the challenges in the gospel genre that people don't normally talk about? Not just, I'm talking about not just, singing for the Lord, as they say, quote unquote, is something that is naturally done. But it's still, the gospel genre is still a business like anything else. Even though people are singing for God, there's still aspects of it that's business oriented. What challenges have you said or you seen as a contemporary gospel artist? What would you say that a lot of artists in this genre face?
I think it's harder to keep it real and be transparent, because you have to you're faced with trying to give that face of everything's okay. I praise the Lord. I'm all right. I don't go through. You know what I'm saying? But somebody like me, look, I'm going through, and you come on with me. Come on. I'm still saved, but come on with me. I'm going to take you on this journey with me.
Definitely.
And so there's a lot of cookie cutter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, or a lot of crossover. Crossover is cool.
Okay.
I don't necessarily hear music that way.
Okay.
That's just me. I don't, that's no knock. But I think with the money aspect that you're talking about, some people make gospel songs that can be played at conferences or conventions or things that could possibly generate income, broader audiences that are in the church scene.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that a gospel artist can run into. It is expensive to make all this music, but God is good. But yeah, that's pretty much the things that I can think of at the moment.
Definitely. Now I know I've asked a lot of questions about challenges. What have been some of your major successes?
My major success, and it may not be a success to other people, pre-COVID, I was doing music one way. When everything got shut down and I wanted to start doing music again, all the resources I had were closed. So the only thing I could do was reach out to this producer who is so good. He's beyond me. This guy's worked with everyone, and he usually will mix and engineer my stuff. Okay. But he's never produced me or anything. I didn't even know he could do all of that. But he's the only one who stayed open. His name is Brian H. Porter. Okay. So I called Brian. I'm like, Brian H. Porter. I said, I can't get in the studio. I know you're a busy guy, but I need somewhere to record. Can you help me? And I go to his studio and I show him my little song. And this guy is the greatest, one of the greatest to me. I'm playing my little song and he's like, okay, that's good. We can work with that. Okay. So in my brain, I'm thinking, can you help me? Like, help me with my vocal arrangements. I'm thinking that in my mind because I'm feeling like, I don't know if I can execute this. And my success was being in that studio with Brian. Listen. I just got to say this. That man, you talking about iron sharpening iron? Anything I did, anything vocally I did, if I did a vibrato in the wrong place or anything, he noticed everything. He's as much of a perfectionist as I am.
Yeah.
And so he really got things out of me that I did not know were there. And to me, the success is being able to partner with another person who can help you get the gift, the thing that God put in you, and pull it out in a way where it executes and the idea is translated. That's a success for me.
Definitely. And people who are not artists don't understand the value of a great producer. You go into the studio, you can just go in the studio, somebody can record you.
Okay.
That doesn't mean they're producing. That just means they're recording. And I mean even
and they're taking your money.
Right. And they're taking your money. So it's an aspect that people don't really, the good ones know. The good ones definitely know. The ones that there's some people who just say I'm a producer and they just, here's a beat. It's like, no. Yeah. Somebody who really can take your talent, like you said, take it and bring it out to where you probably even further than what you even thought for yourself.
Yes.
And for me, I've been in a couple studios, and I know good producers when I see them, and I know bad producers when I see them. If Mr. Brian H. Porter is from what you're telling me, I'm pretty sure he is all of that. Salute to Mr. Porter.
Salute.
Sometimes people don't think getting into a good environment is a success, and for me, you got to be in the right place, and it's a success, and plus it's God driven, and ain't nothing else behind it. If you're in the right place, you're in the right place. That's just I always say that. If you got the right people behind you, you got the right people listening to it and taking your song up to another level.
Yeah.
Like that. Listen.
You talking and nitpicking.
Yeah.
Every
very much
little thing. I'm like, Brian, I can't do no vibrato right there.
Yeah.
No, do you want to sound like you're 92? Oh
right.
man, for real? Straighten it up. Oh man.
But it makes you better though. It makes you better as an artist. It's something that you'll remember. Plus, you want to go back again. You'll be like, I'm gonna save up that X amount of dollars.
Oh, yes.
I know for a fact that I'm going to get a great product when I'm done, you know? So
yes, I'm going to use my stimulus check.
Yes.
You know?
Talk about it. Talk about it. Talk about it. That's right. That it has to be used for something, right? You know what I mean?
Yes.
There's something to get out of it, right? You know?
Yeah.
That's what's up. Ty, you got any questions before we go to break, man?
Do you have any plans on writing a book about your journey?
I've been asked to do that, and I'll definitely think about it. If anything, I'm going to really try to put even more of my life story in my music. So if I don't get to write that book, I want to, really put it in my music.
In the form of a musical?
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't thought about it. But I want to do something because my story, I'm not even scratching the surface. I need to get clearance before I tell my story. I got to make phone calls like, Mom, is it cool if I just can't say it right now. Put it out. But it's crazy. It's like a Lifetime movie. Like anyone who really, really knows us, it's like crazy. Like it's crazy.
All right. That's awesome. That's awesome. I think we all have a story to tell.
Absolutely.
And it's always important to share because you never know who you're going to inspire in the process. I think sometimes people keep stuff to themselves because they don't want the shame of whatever, or, they don't want to be judged by it. But a lot of times when you put yourself out there, the vulnerability of it is definitely, one of those things too. Like, what are people going to think? I find that when you tell your story in the most authentic manner, it always pays off more in the end. So, when you get your clearances and you get your go aheads, we'll be waiting. We'll be waiting to see whether it's a musical or whether it's just you telling your story through the music itself. We'll definitely be waiting. But family, we're gonna take a quick break. Remember, you can call us with your comments and questions at 844-844-1244. Again, it's 844-844-1244. You can also email us at jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. Again, that's jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. That's JIMMYBONDS podcast@gmail.com. You'll listen to the Jimmy Bonds Podcast on Illadelphia Radio. We'll be right back.
Love always fights for me. With all my sins, you still die for me. They don't know, they just don't know how I love you. Hey, your love never ever runs out on me. When I go astray, you still stay faithful and true.
Is it on? I said, is the mic on? It is. Okay, all right, yeah. This is Reverend CC Chicken Wing, and I love listening to the Jimmy Bonds Podcast. Insightful, thoughtful words that uplift the people and bring them knowledge to the people. That's the brother Jimmy Bonds right there. You can reach out to the brother too at the Jimmy Bonds Podcast @gmail.com. This is Reverend CC Chicken Wing. Is the mic still on? Is it on? Okay, I'm sure.
Hey, this is Michael from Abu Dhabi. Listen to Jimmy Bonds Podcast on Illadelphia Radio.
Welcome back to the Jimmy Bonds Podcast on Illadelphia Radio. We thank you for listening. Remember, family, you can call us at 844-844-1244. Again, it's 844-844-1244. You can also email us at jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. Again, it's jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. That's JIMMYBONDS podcast@gmail.com. And welcome back to Jimmy Bonds Podcast and Illadelphia Radio. Remember, family, you can call us with your comments and questions at 844-844-1244. Again, it's 844-844-1244. You can also email us at jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. Again, it's jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. That's JIMMYBONDS podcast@gmail.com. Again, family, we're interviewing a contemporary, multi-talented gospel artist, Samona. Samona has been sharing her story with us. She shared what she's doing presently. She shared her past. We're going to talk about what she got coming up, what's coming up in the future. So, Samona, tell us about what you have up on the dates. I know, with concerts and that kind of thing. I know that's kind of hard to do and all that kind of stuff. But what do you have going on? What's next?
Well, I have some new music coming out,
Yes.
some new stuff. One of them's a little out of that box. I got to see if Brian will approve it. But I do have some stuff coming out, and I also have some features. I'm working with another artist, and so that should be coming out this year. Some of the songs that I have probably within the next month. So, follow me on Spotify. Find me on Facebook.
Yeah, for sure. I noticed on your Facebook, your Facebook is full of nothing but positivity. I noticed that. Very, very inspiring, very inspirational, pushing people to do stuff, pushing people about their spirit and letting them know, hey, don't quit, don't give up. I can't remember off top of my head of some of the quotes I saw that you put up there, but I always like to live my life by quotes, even though sometimes people find that to be pointless. But I think quotes play a major role because they kind of get you thinking. They kind of get you sitting around like, maybe that is true. That is very true.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things I always wanted to ask, so when it's all said and done, I'm not gonna say you're done making music because gospel doesn't really have an age bracket on it. That's the most beautiful thing about gospel. But when it's said and done and you feel like you're ready, you can move on to other things. What do you want people to remember about you and your music?
Wow. If I can make it, you can make it.
That's real.
Definitely.
That's real.
Things have not been easy, but life is about decisions. You can choose to listen to that little quote, try to go the right way. We don't always make the best decisions, but I just want to be an open book. I want to be as transparent as possible so that some of the struggles I've gone through, other people can see wow, you really can overcome that. There's really hope. There's really something else out there. I can really make it. I don't have to die right here. I don't have to be suicidal. I don't have to be hopeless. I have a purpose. I have something in me that God put in there, and hey, let's find out what it is and let's do it and be a blessing to other people.
Yeah, that's real. I mean, I always tell people everybody got a purpose. Just a matter when you find it. You can find it when you're 16 or you can find it when you're 76. It doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. God will reveal your purpose to you. That's just what I've kind of been, that's been ingrained in my family, ingrained in kind of the way I think. And I'll always want to try to transfer that over to our audience that, purpose is major. We all have a purpose. Nobody was born just because they were born, when you find that purpose, it is something that you just, you go for it. You got to go for it. You have to, I always say it defines who you are as a person on this planet. Defines who you are. And I think if a lot of us knew our purpose, a lot of us would be a lot happier about life.
Absolutely.
I think some of the struggles that we go through directly and indirectly come because we don't know our purpose, and you'll get there eventually. If God gives you another day, that's another day to get your purpose. That's just what I always believe, so that's right. I definitely know that that's the case. T, go ahead. I know you got a few more questions you want to ask before we get off here.
I don't know. I can't remember if you said that you're making another song, and I know you are, but when are you coming to the East Coast so we can hear you sing?
Yeah, when you come.
Have you planned?
Whenever I'm invited.
When you come, you listen.
I want to hear you sing.
Whenever I'm invited.
You're invited. That's your invitation.
That's right, T. Tell her. That's right, T.
Your invitation. I would love to meet you and hear you sing.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah, I mean, hey, if you guys have something, just invite me. I'll be there.
Yeah,
wonderful.
We'll definitely we're definitely gonna open up the books for that one. And we should announce it right here on the radio. We are now going to start our own gospel hour on Illadelphia Radio.
Oh, nice!
On every Samona, and
nice.
Samona, you are part of that. We are going to definitely play your music within in the rotation of that. I think me and Ty thought it was something that, and I know T's been talking to me about this too, but this is something that I felt like we had to do, not just because that's the marketing thing to do. I think it's just important because, like Ty was saying, some people get up crack of dawn in the morning and go to prayer, and I felt like it was important to have a little soundtrack for them to go to, you know what I mean? Have something to feel their spirit in. So you being our first gospel artist that we're interviewing on the podcast, I'm like, yo, we gotta do it, Ty. We gotta do it, Ty. And Ty's like, yeah, Jimmy, we gotta do it, Jimmy. We gotta do it. So I'm happy to announce that, you know, so Samona, like your music will definitely be played in a rotation consistently.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, it's going to be dope. It's going to be dope. I'm looking forward to it already.
I can't wait to hear it on the radio.
Listen,
thank you. I really appreciate the support and the encouragement and just you guys having me on and all of the positivity. Like it really does help. You know, artists are sensitive.
Yes.
You know. So don't think that we just got it all and we're just making music and we're confident and we're this, that, and the other. No. I appreciate all of the positive feedback. I really do. So thank you.
No, you're certainly welcome. And look, we know about the sensitivity. We know about being sensitive. Ty, don't we know? Don't we know? I am. Listen, I'm probably the most sensitive Bob over this. I got music that I ain't put out in years because I'm so sensitive about it.
Okay.
So, you know, listen, I know about us. You know what Erykah Badu say. You know,
she said I'm sensitive about.
Yeah, right. You know, so
kept it real.
It's definitely something that I think people as artists, and I mean, I think anybody who creates something, whether it's painting or it's acting or it's anything, anybody who creates anything is sensitive about it. And I think
your craft.
Yeah, it is your craft, right? You know, it's something you've been working on. You've been in the closet with it. You know what I mean? And I feel like you have to. I don't want to say grow tough skin, but I want to say you have to really kick the naysayers to the side. You know, you really have to really just be like, I believe in what I'm doing. I know that this is a gift I have, and I'm going to use it to the best of my ability. And you know, and in today's age, you know, you could get on YouTube and see people who are not talented. You know, that should give you enough oomph to say, hey, I can do this. You know what I mean? Like, so, and I'm not trying to knock the people on YouTube or nothing like that, but I'm just, you know, listen, you're right. These people are making millions of dollars off of it. So it's like, it's something that you have to really grasp. Your sensitivity is you know, it's our Achilles heel sometimes, but it also can be our strength. And I think that's the most beautiful thing about it. Ty, go ahead, man. I know you got one more question before we get out of here, bro.
Yes, Miss Samona. Is there a particular artist, band, or group that you would like to collaborate with?
That's a hard question. There's so many people out there that are so good.
She took a long pause on that one. That's dope.
Well, because it's such a conundrum, because my most favoritist, I know that's not a word.
That's a good word. No, favoritist. I'm probably going to start using that word.
Favoritist singer in the whole wide world is not a gospel artist.
Really? Who's that?
Better not be Beyonce.
No.
Who is it?
And why does his name have to literally be like the name of a devil? Bilal.
Bilal is amazing.
He is amazing.
I know, but listen, Bilal is absolutely phenomenal. I bought his first album when I was like 20 something, and I think that first single I heard just, I mean, the boy is ridiculous. I mean, you talk about that falsetto or that. Yeah, I know. She's shaking her head like it's a whole
and that operatic tone, it's the freedom. You know what I admire about him? When you're talking to someone who struggled with fear.
Yeah, for sure.
So when I see someone who is okay with all their quirks and he fearlessly, freely delivers his musicality and it's so raw, it doesn't have to be perfect, but even in the rawness, even in the wrong pitch, whatever he's doing, it sounds genius. That's why I like him.
I'm about to go into some Bilal as soon as we're done.
See, I didn't mean to throw us off. See, you set me up, but I'm honest.
I mean, it's because of like I'm being nostalgic because Bilal had me in some moments when, you know, I was just in my real R&B kick. It was Bilal. It was Brown Sugar. What's my man's name? D'Angelo. It was those type of brothers that had me like, yeah, this is the type of music I like. You know, this is the soul, neo soul, as they call it. You know what I mean? I don't really classify that as any type of music. I just call that good music. You know, like, no, Bilal is, and he doesn't get the praise or the acclamation that he should, because the boy is special.
I told him. I met him before. I looked at him in his face. I said, listen here, Bilal.
Listen.
His manager was standing right there. I said, Beyonce, no. I started naming all these singers. I said, no. I said, it's you. I said, the Lord, it's like he put heavenly vocal cords in you, sir. I told him. I let him know.
I let him know too. The boy's special, man. He's something special. That's dope. That's dope.
But my new song, just a little quick thing here, it's kind of taking me closer to my neo soul.
Yeah.
Bend. Because that's how I hear music.
Yes, and listening to your music, that's what I felt. I didn't
feel
like
I felt too,
I was listening to contemporary gospel. I felt like I was listening to R&B with praise lyrics. And again,
but it's not to copy them. I literally hear music that way.
That
makes sense.
No, it makes complete sense. And I also found it very appealing. It's not crossover either, as people always say. It's not crossover. I can tell it's you, and I can tell that this is where you're headed. And I can also tell you have some R&B in there. Like I said, it's praise lyrics, not gospel. I think we classify gospel. We think of something,
Yeah.
we put it in a box. This is what it is, but it's more. I can't say praise R&B, but praise music in an R&B feel. That's what I love about it. You know what I mean? That's what I felt like. It's some good stuff right here.
Thank you.
Definitely. Yes. Now, before we go, who would you like to dedicate this interview to?
My bro, Justin Ray Johnson. Because I never put a song on the radio before. Wilderness was the first one. And I dedicate that song to his memory. And even doing this today, I wouldn't be doing that without that song. And I wouldn't be doing it without my brother. And I wouldn't be doing this without God. So.
No doubt. Well, we're going to wrap the interview up, but I want you to go ahead and sing your shout outs and, tell people where to go find you, all that good stuff.
Okay. So you can follow me on Spotify. You can find me on YouTube under my channel page is Encouraged to Inspire. Encouraged to Inspire. Yes. And I'm on Amazon, all the different digital platforms. You can message me on Facebook. I'm not really on Instagram and Twitter. I'm just not good at it. Pray for me. Just not good at it.
No prayer. Look, I ain't either. I think T's the most professional one on Instagram that I know. I am horrible at it.
Yeah, but I am on Facebook. Call me old school, but
it's easier to manage.
It is. It's just easy. You got a timeline. I can see my little messages is over here. My little friends is over here.
Exactly.
It's so easy. I can see the saints. I can see the ain'ts. Everything's right there. Right. It's just right there.
That's real. That's real. Well, Samona, I'm honored that you came on tonight. I'm honored that you shared your story with us. I know this is the tip of the iceberg. I know it's so much more that you have to share. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to listening to your music, your new music. I'm looking forward to definitely going through your old catalog. I say old, but your more recent catalog. I think that it's important that you continue to push the way you are. You're a beautiful soul. You're a beautiful person. I think people will definitely gravitate to what you're doing and how you're doing it. And again, I'm thankful for you coming on tonight. I know Ty and TR, we learned a lot about, just your journey, and we appreciate you sharing your journey.
Very welcome.
Definitely. So, I'm gonna end it right there, family. Remember, you can call us with your comments and questions at 844-844-1244. Again, it's 844-844-1244. You can also email us at jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. Again, it's jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. It's JIMMYBONDS podcast@gmail.com. Now, remember, family, we are still in the COVID-19 pandemic, so please wear your mask, wash your hands, practice social distancing. There's a new variant out there, and people are still dying, family. So I need you to always call your friends, call your family, call your loved ones, and tell them that you love them, because you never know when you might get another chance. So on that note, family, I want to thank y'all for tuning in to Jimmy Bond's podcast on Illadelphia Radio. We out. Peace.
You make me brave. I'll sing your praise, Lord.
fam, that's going to wrap the show. We want to thank you for listening to Jimmy Bond's podcast on Illadelphia Radio. We ask you to leave your comments and questions at 844-844-1244. Again, that's 844-844-1244. You can also email us at jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. Again, that's jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. That's JIMMYBONDS podcast@gmail.com. Now remember, family, we are still in the COVID-19 pandemic, so please, please, please remember to wash your hands, wear a mask, and practice social distancing. Also, remember to take nothing for granted and value every opportunity you have with your friends, your family, and your loved ones. For in these times, every moment is sacred. So until the next episode, you can find me on Good Hope Road, screaming, stay up, don't sleep in your dreams. I'm Jimmy Bonds, and I'm out. Fight on, come on! Fight on, fight on.